Now, The Hunt Palmer Show.
This is a catastrophe.
You are now listening to The Hunt Palmer Show. Brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
That's what I wished for when I blew out my candle.
Locking down the middle of the day, live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios. This is Hunt Palmer.
The floor is yours.
Welcome in. Hunt Palmer coming to you from Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio downtown in the capital city on this Wednesday. It means we're brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools. And Jacob Beck and Cassie Spazzali back there on the ones and twos. Fired up you are here with us. Plenty to do as we start working towards the long holiday weekend. One more work day for us tomorrow. We're on fully from 7 a.m. until 6 p.m. tomorrow. And then we'll shut it down on Saturday for Shut it down on Friday for the 4th of July. We got lots to do today on this Wednesday edition of the show. Koki Riley one more time in his weekly spot. Coming up in 15 minutes, we'll talk about LSU in the transfer portal and kind of what this draft class looks like from an LSU perspective. It's What If Wednesday. Still got some time to get some of those in the next 30 minutes at Hunt Palmer 88 on Twitter. Of course, those of you in the Bayou Ford chat can hit me up there as well. In the second hour, I want to talk about potential SEC Media Days invitees from LSU who might get that nod. I've got some guesses. We'll kick that around a little bit. And then The Athletic did a piece on biggest question entering the summer for each NFL team. And I want to get to the Saints burning question that Larry Holder posed. We'll get to that at 2:15. So lots and lots to do. Lock us in. Let's start the same way we start every single day. That's with our Genesis opening drive.
It's time for Hunt's Opening Drive, presented by Genesis of Baton Rouge.
Two announcements coming tonight, 6 o'clock here on this Wednesday, that may impact LSU. The hope is that they impact LSU, and right now the prevailing thought is that they will impact LSU. Five-star edge rusher Trenton Henderson is set to make his announcement, and then J.J. Bush, a linebacker who was ranked a 4-star by On3, will make his announcement at 6 o'clock tonight as well. And I want to talk about both of these players because June was jam-packed with visitors for LSU. I mean, high-profile names, weekend after weekend, official visits, rolling out the red carpet, the meals, the visits, the photo shoots, the Twitter posts, Instagram tracking. Like, it was wall-to-wall in June. Now, I don't know that I was as locked into it as maybe some of you are because LSU is chasing a national championship in baseball, and that's what we spent more of our time on. But we were certainly aware that a lot was going on from a recruiting perspective, and it was pretty light on commitments. You got one. You got one. Quarterback from Winsboro is going to play corner for you. But you figure that some dominoes are going to start falling at some point, and for LSU, the hope is that's tonight. We'll start with Trenton Henderson, who is from Pensacola. He's 6'4", 225 pounds. If you look at 24/7, they rate him as the number 28 player in the nation, a 5-star recruit, the number 4 edge rusher in the country, number 5 player in the state of Florida. And all indications are that he is likely headed to LSU. You look at the crystal balls. You see that LSU is the leader there. Florida's in the mix. LSU's in the mix. Florida State's in the mix. Michigan is in the mix. One of the things I really like about Trenton Henderson, and there's a lot to like. You look at a guy who is 6'4" and 225 pounds, long limbs, lean, athletic, and you look at his statistics in high school, and as you'd expect, he's really good. 50 tackles, 18 TFLs, 20 hurries, 10 sacks. In 10 games as a junior. So you're talking about a guy who's getting back there and hurrying the quarterback twice a game and had a sack a game for Pensacola Catholic. But I also like the fact that he plays basketball. I like those hybrid athletes who use skill sets in different ways. And then once you get to LSU, wherever your college destination may be, but in this case you hope for Trenton Henderson that it's LSU, you hope that you can hone in all those athletic traits and then be coached up by some of the best coaches in the country to kind of reach your full potential. So I like the fact that Henderson has played basketball in his prep career. Kevin Peoples is leading this recruiting for LSU, and to me, there's a lot to sell for Kevin Peoples because you're talking about two guys that just left and just got picked in the NFL draft. that prior to their 2024 season were not elite level players. Braden Swinson bounced around Oregon down to LSU. Even his first year at LSU was kind of a rotational piece. Savion Jones came in as kind of the next guy to take over. You had K'Lavon Chaisson and B.J. Ojulari, and he was kind of going to be next, and it never really panned out, and he put on a good bit of weight, and then he lost his burst, and he just – I went into last season thinking, well, that guy's not going to be a great player. And both those guys were excellent this past year in Kevin Peoples' first year coaching the edge rushers. And so that's a really easy story to tell. It's not in the distant past. You can have those guys help you tell it. And it to me would entice the best edge rushers in the country to at least take a look at LSU. And if you look at the profile, like Trenton Henderson is one of the best edge rushers in the country, and he is looking at LSU, and the hope for the Tigers tonight is that Henderson does pull the trigger. You have to continue to get these guys in the boat from the high school ranks. And there are probably some of you that will push back on that and be like, no, the portal's fine. Look what they just did. Went and got Patrick Payton, just got Jamari Butler, went and got Jack Pyburn. Like, they can just fill the pipeline with that. But that's an every year thing, and you don't get the chance to bring them in and develop them over multiple years, and it is something that is necessary for the program to do that each and every year. But if you can get Trenton Henderson in and get him into the culture, get him into the weight room, get him into the defensive system, get him in with Kevin Peoples, and then you can have multiple years of him as opposed to a guy like Butler or a guy like Payton or a guy like Pyburn, take your pick, that is here for just 1 year, you get more production. So I think this is a big add potentially for LSU. The Tigers have had a ton of success recruiting Florida over the last 2 decades, and they hope that this one right out of the Panhandle is next up for them. So Trenton Henderson, probably the biggest name to watch for today, but J.J. Bush is another name to watch today. He's going to announce a little bit later this afternoon. He is a linebacker, 6'3", about 210 pounds. He hails from Theodore, Alabama, and LSU is fighting off teams like Florida, teams like Missouri, teams like Miami for his services, and LSU appears to be in a really good spot for him. Now, if you look at Bush, he is a really, really good athlete, like really good. He's 6'3", 210 pounds, but he also, and I mentioned this with Henderson, is a multi-sport guy. 18.9 points per game and 8.5 rebounds per game on the basketball court this past season. He was a Coastal Alabama all-regional selection as a junior. 19 points and 8.5 rebounds is no joke on the high school basketball circuit. Then he goes and runs track, and he runs a 24.32 in the 200-meter, and he long jumps 20.8 as an 11th grader, as a junior. So you're talking about 200-meter speed, long jump athleticism, the hand-eye coordination to be able to score 19 points a game in high school basketball and grab 8.5 rebounds. And oh, by the way, he plays linebacker and running back and returns kicks for his high school. Last year at running back, he ran for 350 yards and 6 touchdowns, and LSU's recruiting him as a linebacker. And it's not like he's all these athleticism things, but he's a little bit undersized. He's 6'3". You take that frame, that kind of athleticism, and you turn him into a full-time football player, and you get him into a collegiate weight room and a strength program, nutrition program. That's a guy it's easy to see putting on 25, 30 pounds. Now you're 6'3", 230, and one of the best athletes on the field. I think this is a really promising prospect that Blake Baker has been handling the recruiting on. Arkansas is certainly in the mix. I mentioned Missouri's in the mix. Baylor's in the mix as well. I'm a little bit puzzled. And again, I don't pretend to sit here and be some sort of elite talent evaluator on the football side of things. Like, that's not my corner of the store. Y'all know that. So I'm not here to break down the hand placement and the bend and all. Like, that's not my deal. But it's surprising to me that somebody with these measurables and these athletic traits is not on more national power radars than Bush is. I mean, I don't mean to be completely flagrantly disrespectful to Arkansas and Missouri and Baylor, but they don't exactly swim in the same waters as LSU, and I'm sure Eli Drinkwitz would push right back on that, and he would be wrong. But that's okay. I'm surprised that you're not talking about more high-profile programs taking a look at him. He's a 4-star recruit by 24/7. If you look at the 24/7 composite, he is a 3-star recruit, number 493 nationally. But look, 24/7's got him as the number 16 linebacker in the country. And I just think based on the frame and the athleticism, like that tends to make a lot of sense. So these two guys are set to make their announcements later this evening. LSU is crystal balled, is recruiting prediction machine, is whatever site you want to look at. They are the favorites to land both of them. And certainly the coaching staff hopes that a long June of recruiting pitches and visits and hosting parents and pitching kids and then going ahead and doing the FaceTiming and everything that goes into it. Finally, that's a couple of commitments here on this 2nd of July. So wanted to start the show there. Very important stuff for LSU as they look to continue to build on that 2026 class they're trying to ink in December of this year. So Trenton Henderson and J.J. Bush, your names to watch for this evening. All right, we're off and running. Our Wednesday shows brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools. Shout out to our guy, Joey Blanchard. Look, here's the deal. You are going to likely spend some time near a pool this weekend. A lot of us will. Maybe it's yours. Fantastic. Maybe it's not. You got to travel to go to one. Is that because it's not time for you to build a pool, or is that because you just haven't started that process yet and you've got a pool of your dreams in mind? If that's the case, Renaissance Homes and Pools can help you out. Go to the website, builtbyrenaissance.com, and fill out that Contact Us form. Joey Blanchard and his team will get to you, and you're going to work with Joey from start to finish. You'll look at the software. It's 3D, scaled. You can perfectly design exactly what you want that pool or that outdoor kitchen or both to look like, and Joey will walk you through it every step of the way. He's the owner at Renaissance Homes and Pools. He's done it for dozens and dozens of people in the Baton Rouge market. He can do it for you next. It's pool season. It's summertime. Makes us think, man, what if I had that pool in the backyard to cool off every evening? Renaissance Homes and Pools can help you out with that. Call Joey directly, 225-252-7745. Again, that's 252-7745 in the 225 area code. Renaissance Homes and Pools, built by Renaissance.com. Step aside, come back. Koki Riley talking some baseball with the current roster and the transfer portal next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Closets, onebathandclosets.com is the website. David Vaughn and his team, 30 years redesigning and remodeling bathrooms and closets. When I say renovating, remodeling, you may think just a massive, invasive project that takes time, is massively expensive, and there are some that are like that, sure, but it doesn't have to be. It could be something very simple like a tub-to-shower conversion. If you don't use that tub, you don't have two rugrats like me. They're taking a bath every night at 6:30. You don't ever get up in the bathtub. You're just taking showers. Well, take the bathtub out. Put in the gorgeous glass walk-in shower. Changes the look of your bathroom, functionality of your bathroom, add some value to the home. Just make everybody happier in the domicile. Go ahead and contact our guy, David Vaughn. Onebathandclosets.com is where you can find him. Get that free consultation. Doesn't cost you anything to just chat with David about what they can do. You can find pictures of their great work on the website as well. It's One Bath and Closets. Check them out online at onebathandclosets.com.
Men, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief: our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority.
It's our purpose.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one. You. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
At Sunshine, we know what you see when you look at your land. Where others may see dirt, you see the foundation you've built your life on.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools.
What If Wednesday? We've got 4 or 5 already queued up here. But if you're in the Bayou 4 chat or on Twitter, you can hit me at HuntPalmer88 and send me some more what ifs. Got some good ones that involve some baseball, involve some SEC what's the word I'm looking for there? Realignment. SEC realignment issues. Some baseball for next year. Some scheduling preferences for 2 weeks from now when we're in Atlanta for SEC Media Days. So we'll take some of those if you got them in the Bayou 4 chat or on Twitter at HuntPalmer88. Appreciate you all for interacting with us there. Our Wednesday show is brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools. So one more time, Koki Riley from The Advocate will jump aboard and talk a little LSU baseball with us. Been doing it all season long, and now we're very much into the off season, and Koki's still working things over there at The Advocate as Jay Johnson looks to put together the 2026 Tiger team, and that it takes a lot of work each and every year in this landscape of college sports. Koki, give us a little time now on the Jim's Firearms Hotline. Koki, how are you?
Doing pretty well. How's it going?
Going quite well. Jay Johnson kind of meticulously working through the transfer portal. When you look at the additions so far, obviously the left-handed pitching stands out, but do you feel like that was the biggest need he felt they needed to address?
Yeah, I think so, especially from the pitching side. I mean, they have plenty of righties and plenty of right-handed options, especially if you think Jaden Nude or Gavin Guidry or Devin Sheeran. They're going to have all those guys back probably, at least in Nude's case probably. So I feel like you were pretty set there when you have a guy like Evans and maybe even a guy like Cowan in your rotation too. They just need more left-handed options. And, guys who had the stuff to pitch at this level. And that's the thing that Garcia has. That's the thing that Lockenmeyer has. That's the thing that Smart has already proven that he has because he was obviously at Tennessee. So they just need to make sure they had guys who kind of had the swing and miss stuff, the strikeout stuff to pitch at this level. And I think they do.
Is it reasonable now to suggest that most pitchers that transfer from anywhere else to LSU are going to take a jump based on resources and coaching now that we've seen these transfers come in and do what they've done the last few years?
Yes. I wouldn't say it's a guarantee because, I mean, like Connor Benj was a guy who was kind of towards the top of the bullpen and then he faded away. Like Connor Ware, same with him, like we had very high expectations for him heading into this season and that just didn't end up working out. So like, it's not a guarantee, like Chandler Dorsey never got his footing here. Cade Woods never got his footing here. It seems like the list is very small, but when you really start thinking about it, the list is actually longer than you think it is. But at the same time, there have been plenty of successes. This is why they've won 2 national championships in 3 years and have, multiple pitchers who are either in the major leagues or about to make the major leagues. In the case of even a Kate Anderson or whoever. So Gage Jump, who's in the futures game. So I think things have gone really, really well for them on the transfer pitching side. And they've been more successful with the transfer pitchers than anyone else in the country. I think it's safe to say that since Jay Johnson's been the coach there. But at the same time, it's not a guarantee. I still think at least one of these guys are going to hit, maybe all 3 of them, probably 2 of them at least. We'll see how it all turns out.
As far as the offense, do you feel like they're still looking for a bat or 2, and what position might that bat play if they are still looking?
For me, it's second base. Second base is still a need for this team, and given the way that things are trending with Chris Stanfield right now, outfield could potentially be another spot. They have a decent amount of outfielders from the freshman class that could maybe slide in. But I don't think Jaden Foskey is coming here. We'll see with William Patrick. He's kind of on the fence. There's Dean Moss as well. So there's some freshmen who could maybe slide into that 3rd spot. But you don't have Ashton Larson anymore. You might not have Ethan Fry. You're probably not going to have Chris Stanfield. So all of a sudden, your outfield options are sort of getting plucked one by one. And it's going to be interesting to see who's the 3rd guy next to Brent Curiel. The outfield is a bit more, I guess, shakier than I thought it would be heading into this. I think second base is still definitely a need, even though you have Tanner Reeves as an option who can play there. But at the same time, I think you kind of want someone to slide in there, and plus you're not sure which freshman you're going to have either. So it's like that position is definitely in flux as well.
I know enough about the signing class to understand the big picture. Each individual case we'll get more clarity on in the next 2 weeks. But do you sense just a massive amount of volatility with the signing class? Because you don't have to question Connor Griffin, he's never going to come. There just feel like there are a lot of 60-40 guys, a lot of 40-60 guys, a lot of 50-50 guys, and that makes the roster hard to juggle, right?
Yeah. So there's 4 or 5 guys who I'm 99% confident they'll end up at school, and if they don't end up at school, it's because they don't make the team.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. But then there's 10 guys. And Omar Cerna used to be on this list, and now he's not on this list anymore. Who could at least theoretically get picked? 20% chance. Guy who shows up on a draft ranking list, some sort of that sort of guy. So you have Cerna in your pocket, and that's another catching sort of prospect that you can sort of slowly develop and play midweek games next season, and you don't have to really rely on him next year. I think that's kind of the best role for him next season, just given based on who I've talked to about him and what I've read about him. But everybody else is just a big question mark. There's a couple of guys who I lean one way than the other. I think Quentin Young's going to go. I'm pretty confident Jaden Foskey's going to go. Those 2 guys have fans in Major League Baseball for sure, and could go in the first round. And then after that, it gets really, really gray. There's a couple guys who I lean them more towards coming here, and then there's some real toss-ups. William Patrick, who I kind of just mentioned, he's a Louisiana guy, so I kind of lean him coming to school, but at the same time, he's a top 100 prospect, so that's going to make things tough as well. So yeah, I don't know, it's going to be really this out of all the recruiting classes they've had, this is probably the most volatile in terms of who goes and who stays, because they don't have any obvious slam dunk top 15 picks. No one's going to get top pick in the top 20 probably, I assume. But there's a lot of guys who can go between rounds, 1 and 2 or 1 and 3. Yeah. I say.
And there's 7 figures to be waiting for those guys if an organization values them to that degree. So let's talk about the guys that were on this roster, this past roster. You mentioned most of them, but let's talk about 3 in particular: Connor Ware, Chris Stanfield, and and Zach Cowan? What do you think?
I think Cowan comes back. Talked to a couple of people this morning about him, and I just don't think he has enough of a fastball to guarantee him seven figures. And I don't know if it's worth his time unless he's getting close to seven figures to go Major League Baseball when he can just come back to LSU, get a decent NIL deal, and become a starter for maybe the best team in the country. I just feel like that package is more appealing for anyone. I don't know what he wants specifically, but that package just seems more that appealing for anyone. So I think he comes back. Stanfield, it sounds like he's going to go. It seems like he has fans in Major League Baseball. He's a really good athlete. We've known that for a while. I think he's going to have to retool his swing to make it to the major leagues. But at the same time, like when you're that good of an athlete, it's hard, and you've proven that you can catch up to high 90s fastballs and play at the highest level. Winning the national championship. I think that means he's probably going to go at this point. And the other name you mentioned was Ware, right?
Right.
And with Connor, I lean towards him going, but I don't really know because he didn't have as strong of a season as I think a lot of people expected him to. But he had a lot of fans in the fall from the scouting community, so maybe that holds. And it's still hard to teach his ability to IVB the baseball and let that thing ride. So we'll see. He's going to be interesting. But like I think. Things didn't go great this season for him, but I still think there's got to be one or two teams that are pretty interested in him.
He still throws with his left hand, and he can still throw 4 pitches. So somebody, it feels like, may jump up and grab that. Is there a player that's definitely returning who you feel like it's an important summer and fall for as they head off to Cape Cod or the Northwoods League and then come back to campus for fall ball?
I think the obvious answer is Cade Arambidi, right? Yeah. Like, I think, Chatham is a good team for him to sort of be on. And there isn't a ton of summer guys this year just because they, won the national championship and played the maximum amount of games that you could have played, pretty much. But he's an obvious guy in terms of just getting more games underneath his belt as a catcher, improving his blocking, improving his framing. That defensive development is just so critical for him. And even some of the offensive development, right? Like we saw like pieces and flashes of it this past season offensively, but there was still a decent amount of swing and miss, and he had some trouble with off-street stuff, especially away. So I think the Cape League is kind of perfect for him. And I think Chatham is a very good spot for him to sort of develop at. And again, like he's going to be the starting catcher next year, barring some sort of pretty big surprise. So I feel like, this offseason is going to be very important for him.
We know you'll be all over it for the next couple of weeks until draft day, so we appreciate a little bit of time. We'll let you go for a couple of weeks. Maybe we'll revisit when the draft settles down, all right?
All right, awesome. Sounds great. Thank you.
He's Koki Riley with The Advocate. Interestingly enough, if you're just completely sick like me, just a sick human being, I found Chatham's Twitter feed, and they stream their games live. And they actually sent out a tweet. It's like, okay, Darren Beatty's on deck. So I clicked the link, and I watched his at-bat last night. It was not good. He struck out. But you can watch some of these Cape games. I've always tracked the stats, which are hit or miss, quite frankly, on the Cape website. Sometimes Baseball Reference does a better job. But being able to watch live, I really enjoyed. If LSU would ever send a pitcher up there that I wanted to really track, which Devin Sheeran is there right now, I'll probably watch him at some point. But got a chance to watch an Darren Beatty at bat, and I'll probably check in on that here and there. And I'll just relay the info here. But appreciate Koki for laying that out. I do think it's a big summer for Cade Arambidi. He's got every tool, man. Every tool in the toolbox. He's got a big arm, great frame, hits for power, bat speed, can run a little bit. Like I've said this a few times, and I don't believe it to be a hyperbole. I don't recall the last catcher at LSU with a toolbox as complete as Arambidi's. Like Papierski couldn't really run, but he had everything else. Big frame, could hit for power. He's a switch hitter. Didn't necessarily hit for a lot of contact, but good arm. there just haven't been a lot of like completely toolsed up catchers. And like Brady Neal had a lot, but Aaron Beatty's bigger and stronger than Brady Neal. So that's a guy that they have really high hopes for in that baseball program. And I don't care. I mean, I will care, but like him hitting 198 in the Cape League this summer doesn't mean he's toast. It's a tough league to hit in. The pitchers are really good, and you're using a wooden bat. And the fields are big. Like nobody really hits home runs. Like it's a tough league to hit in. But hopefully he turns a little bit of a corner up there and is ready to roll when he gets back to fall ball coming up here in a couple of months. So appreciate Koki for a little bit of time. We got What If Wednesday coming up next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
At Atmos Energy, our smart choice solutions help customers save energy and emissions with rebates up to $500 off high-efficiency natural gas appliances, smart thermostats, and weatherization upgrades. Together, we're fueling our energy future.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
You gotta believe in a dream. Believe. You gotta believe in a dream. Believe. You gotta believe. My whole team on wild.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat.
This is the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools.
All right, moving right along here. Wednesday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show. We're brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools. You can find them online at builtbyrenaissance.com. Second hour, we are jam-packed. We've got my guesses on LSU's 3 Media Day attendees based on performance last year's SEC Media Days. And I've now talked to these players. I've now got a year under my belt of speaking to a lot of the LSU players and get a sense of who enjoys media, who's good at handling media, who may not be as good. And I think it'll be interesting to see who LSU decides to take. So I've got my guesses there. And then Larry Holder, I got one question for the Saints entering the summer. I'll give you my my thoughts on that coming up at 2:15. But right now, it's What If Wednesday.
Time, space, reality. It's more than a linear path. Where a single choice can branch out into infinite realities. Follow me and ponder the question, what if?
All right, first one here. What if there was an Omaha bracket with all 8 LSU World Series champions? Who would win it all?
That's good that they've got an even 8 now that we can fill the whole field with it. Full disclosure, not going to be, not going to hide my cards here. Like, I don't have good perspective at all on 91 and 93. I couldn't even confidently name a lot of players on that team, on those two teams. I know what era it was, the OJ and Shiraka and Paul Bird and all that, and I know some of things about it, but I don't have near the knowledge of those teams as I do 09, 23, 25. I feel good saying that Skeens is the best ace, and when you put the 23 team with that lineup and Skeens on the mound, like, I'm going to take them against everybody in that first game, and that gives you a huge leg up on just about everybody. I feel like you start talking about number 2 starters, like you got Ianson, you got Floyd. I don't know who was behind Coogan back then, but then you got Renato and Coleman. That's pretty good with the 09 team. I feel like the other piece to this puzzle is the eras. And those teams in 96, 97 that hit so many home runs with those bats in that era. Like, the lineup we just watched in 2025 would struggle to keep up with those guys. Now, they got Anderson and Ianson, which helps.
Well, also, but like what in terms of the equipment, what'll be,
I mean, Jones would have been fine. Jones would have hit 35 home runs. But you got guys in that lineup that just aren't going to keep up with that at all. I look at it. I feel like the 23 team is considered the best. Now, do I want them coming out of the losers bracket with that pitching staff against some of the Gorilla Ball teams? Not really. Not really. But I feel like they're the best. And if Floyd gives me what I saw in Omaha from Floyd against some of those teams, like, I feel like LSU's got a chance because Skeens is the best. And I do think that the 23 team could have competed offensively with whoever you wanted to throw out there from some of those late 90s teams. So I'm not great at this. This is a Hanny question. This is a Rance question. But I feel pretty good about the 23 team in just about any setting you want to put them in.
Yeah, it's hard. But yeah, I definitely know less than you, so I would probably lean on some of the more historical guys like Hanny. I would like to see what
Hanny texted me that Doug Thompson was the number 2 in 97 behind Coogan. So look, the Duggar, feisty competitor, but all I hear from the Duggar in the press box is how terrible he was and how everybody hit a home run off of him. And
some guys are like that.
I have more perspective on Doug.
All right, next one here. What if you could remove one program from the SEC? Who would it be, and who would you replace them with? I guess school would be more.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be Missouri all day, every day. They don't add to me anything. They haven't been good at any of the sports. They're supposed to be good at basketball. They've gone winless in the league twice. I hate their uniforms. I don't think they have any traditions. They are far away. It's cold. Their baseball team doesn't even try. Like, I don't have any need for Missouri ever. And if you were asking me to pick a school to replace them with, probably if I'm going to play along with the game and you're just going to let me pluck one away, that's being reasonable, probably North Carolina. That has a blue blood basketball team in. They're really good at baseball. They add another state. It's a great state. Like, North Carolina is awesome. Football, they're going to struggle to keep up, but it's a tough league to keep up with in football. Yeah. So maybe if they come to the SEC, they keep up a little easier. But
how about Florida State? I think that would be good.
Yeah, they fit culturally, they fit geographically.
Good at baseball,
but I know that there's a blockade against them, and you're trying to add state. So I was kind of trying to play along with the SEC in that line of thinking. But yeah, Florida State fits just fine.
Alrighty, next one. What if we pick nobody else up in the portal? Who plays third base and second base?
So Braden Simpson and Seth Darter both have played in the infield, first, second, third, a round. And I'm going to watch those guys in the fall. That's my favorite thing about the fall is kind of seeing how guys look comfort-wise, a lot, especially defensively. And so I don't know today, but you got Tanner Reeves, Chase Darter, and Braden Simpson, who all three have played on the infield, and I'm not asking any of them to go take Milam's gig at short. I think there's a good chance that those three are your options. You clearly are going to give John Pearson a look. I don't know if he's a SEC infielder. I think he could be an SEC DH, but I don't know that he's an infielder. And then we'll see what else shows up in. The question is if we don't go anywhere else in the portal, we'll see what shows up in the signing class. But again, that's going to be a next week exercise for me in totality. I'm going to spend a lot of time on the signing class between now and Monday and Tuesday of next week, and I'll have better answers for you there. But probably the portal guys, and we'll see if John Pearson really takes some strides. I had a conversation with somebody in September of last year about John Pearson, and they said his profile on the high side is Tommy White, but the likelihood is that he's a DH.
Yeah.
And obviously, Tommy White's profile hit 27 home runs as a freshman, and John Pearson did not. So I'm not trying to put him in the air, but you're talking about a guy, Tommy White, leaned out his body, worked really hard on his defense, and became a good third baseman. Now, keep in mind, that was his third year of college. We've only watched John for 1 year. So that there's still room for that growth, but I don't know that I'm betting on it.
Yeah, I wouldn't bet on, especially not next year. Maybe in 2 years, maybe, but I would agree with you there. All right, next one. What if I could give you a free ticket to the Home Run Derby or the MLB All-Star Game?
So we'll be in Atlanta for that.
Oh.
We're going to be in Atlanta that Sunday,
that's right.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I actually looked this up yesterday because I was like, well, I want to see if the Braves are in town. I didn't realize it completely coincided exactly with the All-Star break. So which one would I go to? I would go to the All-Star Game.
Yeah.
But I do appreciate the nuance of the Home Run Derby. I don't think you could pay me 25 U.S. American dollars to watch the Slam Dunk Contest anymore. I just don't care at all. I still find the Home Run Derby interesting, just because
they still get a lot of the better players.
You're looking at the same thing over and over again in the dunk contest.
Yeah.
In the Home Run Derby, it's just like, can you hit the homers?
And
like I would like to watch the 3-point contest more than the Home Run Derby.
But yeah, it also like nobody does the Slam Dunk Contest anymore.
Right.
Nobody
like,
good does it.
They miss half of them, and it's just like it doesn't really. I just don't like it anymore. Like I would watch the best performances, the Vince Carter performance, the Dwight Howard when he did the Superman cape and he put the sticker on. Like some of those are awesome, but I just feel like that's very few and far between.
Yeah.
Home Run Derby I do appreciate and would go if you gave me a free ticket, but I have to pick the game if you're gonna let me pick.
Have they? When did they announce the selections for
the starters today?
Okay, and then what about the Home Run Derby? They already got everybody for
They've
that?
got a couple. No, they don't have them all.
Okay.
I think they have 3 or 4.
Yeah, I wonder if Seiya's got a chance. He's up there in the top 10.
He's hit a lot of home runs. I don't know that I would.
Probably not.
His home runs are like line drives in the third row.
Did you see the one he hit yesterday?
He did hit way up in the air yesterday.
He hit a moonshot yesterday.
He did yesterday. It's rare, but it's usually not what shows up. You got anybody for chat, or is that it?
All right, one more. I think we've probably done this before, but what if LSU gets the snap off in time against Auburn in 2016?
Touchdown. Les eventually gets fired because you know that there was a want to fire him at that point, and it was only a matter of time because that style of play just wasn't going to get it anymore. But it wouldn't have been that. Would have been that day.
Yes.
And then maybe let's just play this out. Maybe he doesn't get fired at that point. He doesn't get fired till after the season, and then they don't hire Ogeron as the interim, and Derek Konansky doesn't leave to go do that, and I don't come do the morning show with Jordy, and then I don't get hooked up with that situation, and maybe I'm not here.
It's just crazy.
Maybe that day when I was in an engagement party kitchen, I don't even know whose kitchen I was in, but I know that I was at an engagement party with no sound, and we were freaking out when they were doing the radio because nobody knew. When they were doing the replay, because nobody knew what anybody was saying on the television. But I was at an engagement party. Don't even know what couple it was for or what house. It was in Baton Rouge. And LSU lost, and I was very sad. But maybe I have this show today because of that.
It's just crazy to think about sometimes.
Shout out Danny Etling.
How
Who caught that? Shark?
I think it was. I don't know, though.
It was too.
Yeah.
I'll have to go back and look. That's my inclination currently.
I think I was at that game.
You were at the Auburn game in Auburn?
Oh wait, no. I'm thinking of the 2018 What was the game where Chark ran the punt back? Wasn't that an Auburn game?
18. No, because it couldn't have been 8 unless they switched him because 16 was when he got fired.
It was when they came
17.
back. They were down like 20 points or something.
Yeah, 17.
I was at that game.
Yeah, they got smoked. And they were getting smoked
They
when that
were.
game came back. All right. Huge injury in the sports world yesterday. We'll talk about it coming up next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
At Sunshine, we know what you see when you look at your land. Where others may see dirt, you see the foundation you've built your life on. This, it's hallowed ground. It's past, present, and future. We're proud to provide quality John Deere equipment to help you maintain the land you love. Check out our current promotions and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared towards seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
Men, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
When it comes to choosing energy for your family and your home, make the smart choice with natural gas. You can count on efficient and affordable natural gas to keep you comfortable and reduce your environmental impact to help protect our planet. Together, we're fueling our energy future. Atmos Energy.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools.
I learned something yesterday. The WNBA also has a stupid in-season tournament. Did you know that?
Well, of course they do. They're the NBA's. You know, they're the part basically.
I saw Caitlin Clark's team on the commissioner show. I was like, oh, that's what they must
She
call
didn't play,
the
by the way,
WNBA.
either.
I knew she didn't play. Nope, just some mid-season tournament like the AAU. It's just mind-blowing that this is what our basketball has come to. But huge injury, not the Caitlin Clark injury. Huge injury in that game. The Red Panda.
Yeah.
Injured wrist, falling off the unicycle. If you don't know who the Red Panda is, she's the halftime show that rides the unicycle way up in the air and flips cups
One
on
of
her
the
head.
best.
And
if
that's
not
really
the
the
best.
point. I am so impressed. The injury and the bowls that she has dropped over the years make her show more impressive to me because I know that it's real.
Yes.
Like, if you showed me what Quick Change does, some sort of vacuum thing that sucks up their attire and behind their back, or if you showed me the actual nuts and bolts of what Quick Change was doing, I'd be like, well, that's not.
You don't want to know how
you just have
sausage
you
is
just have a
made.
machine. It's cool. I loved watching it the first time. It blew my mind the first time. But then you see it and you're like, I don't know what they're really. The Red Panda is legitimately riding a unicycle, flipping cuffs on her head. And to me, the most impressive thing about the Red Panda is not that she can ride a unicycle and flip cuffs on her head. It's that she discovered she had the ability to ride a unicycle and flip cuffs. Because how do you learn you're good at that?
Yeah. Why would you? why would you decide this is what I'm going to do?
I mean, I have no idea if I'm good at that. I have an inclination.
You would be terrible at
Of
it.
course. But the fact that the Red Panda has made mistakes just makes me more impressed because I know that she's doing it for real, night in, night out, riding a unicycle, flipping bowls on her head.
Yes.
And it was a nasty fall last night. I mean, she hadn't even started yet, and she falls right off the front of that unicycle and just like straight on her backside.
Yeah.
And she caught herself with her wrist, and that's going to be a broken wrist.
See, I'm not one for conspiracy theories, Hunt, but I don't know about this situation. Like,
what do you think she
look,
did?
I'm saying I did somebody tamper with the unicycle?
Oh well.
Okay, like she has never. I don't know that she's ever.
Are you
fallen
trying to
off.
accuse the WNBA of
No,
trying to
no.
steal eyeballs here?
I'm not saying who it was. I'm not saying I have no idea, but this just is a little stinky to me. It really is.
Can you think of a halftime show you've enjoyed more? I'm thinking of the halftime shows
No.
I've seen over the year. You've got the flipping dunkers on the trampoline. I don't need that at 37 years old or whatever I am. The dogs chasing the frisbees.
Yeah.
I'm good on that too. Just head over to some beach in Santa Monica. You can see that when they bring like 900 kids out to jump rope.
Yeah,
that's not going to do
No.
it. They play the same song on repeat and like 1,000.
I like
kids
the
jump
baby
rope.
races. Those are really cool. Those are
What
always.
about when the kids come out that shouldn't be playing on a 10-foot goal and play on a 10-foot goal and no one ever
they
scores?
can't score. Yeah,
That's
that
a
is-
tough scene.
Yeah.
Then you got Quick Change, obviously. What else has there been for a halftime show?
I mean, I feel like I'm just thinking about basketball, but
Well,
like
that's
there's-
generally what it is.
Yeah,
I mean,
they don't really. I mean, they have like I don't know if we're talking
LSU
about
football had Lee Greenwood come sing "God Bless the USA" when all
Yeah.
the Golden Girls wore red, white, and blue one night. If you're looking for that, but you really don't see a lot in terms of halftime
she's the
shows.
best, I think, man. I don't know that there's anyone else that is as
I mean,
impressive.
people love the Red Panda.
They do.
And I don't know what she makes for that. I bet I could find out.
I mean, she does it all. She does it for almost every single arena sport. She's there.
Yeah, so I would imagine I could figure out. I could call someone at LSU who
Yeah.
might spill the beans on how much the Red Panda makes. But you figure how many? There's 52 weeks in a year. That's 52 weekends. Probably, that was a midweek deal. You got NBA midweeks, college basketball midweeks. What are we thinking?
At least
200, 180 shows a year.
Probably, because she's probably doing. Yeah, she's doing a multiple a week during the season.
180 shows a year, maybe for the Red Panda. I wonder what's. I mean, there's.
I think she does pretty well.
I would think so. I would think there's
Yeah.
some cash in the Red Panda game. Now, I don't think the Red Panda game extends beyond her.
No,
like, there's no
no.
protege
There isn't.
for the bull flipping on the head on the unicycle.
Yeah, we gotta figure out. I mean, she needs to have a successor in place because
That's not going to
I mean,
happen.
Yeah, I don't know.
I wonder. Somebody mentioned like I bet her workers' comp insurance, if you could get it, would be really
sure.
expensive.
Yeah, you know what, Hunt? You know, since you're back in the journalism game,
Yeah.
maybe you can do a story. Maybe you can get a
on the Red Panda.
Yeah, maybe we can get a story on the Red Panda and find out her origins.
It is July. which
It
can
is.
be tough.
Yeah, so, I mean, look, what are we going to do?
But if you're looking for something to read in July, go check out LouisianaSports.net because I've got a story up right now that details every one of LSU's draft-eligible players from the current roster for baseball and what I think that their future holds. I did a little bit of digging on that and kind of got a sense for how the program feels about that. Exit meetings are done, and everybody's kind of moved off. Like I told you, Kate Aaron Beatty's on the Cape right now. Devin Sheeran's on the Cape right now. You had yesterday the 4 guys on MLB Network. So they're full steam ahead towards filling this roster in 2025, and I think there's a reasonable expectation for what the draft is going to hold. You never know with the draft, and I'll be sure to point that out in the article. But I did write that up over at LouisianaSports.net. So if you're curious about that, go over and check that out. Our Wednesday show is brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools, built by Renaissance.com. Miss any of the first hour, catch it on demand wherever you find your sound. Search Hunt Palmer Show. Like, subscribe, rate, and review. Plenty to do after Sports Center. Got Larry Holder's one big Saints question entering the summer. And who's LSU taking to media days? I got my guesses. Come back with us. Top of the hour coming up next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
GenesisofBatonRouge.com is the website. Every car that's on the lot is online at GenesisofBatonRouge.com. Maintenance, never a ton of fun when it comes to your vehicle, right? You drive in and you got to get the oil changed. Maybe they're going to get you a new air filter. You got to get the wipers replaced, whatever the case may be. But you end up sitting there watching The Price is Right in the showroom, waiting for them to get to your vehicle. And before you know it, the whole morning's shot. Like, nobody likes doing that, right? You don't have to do that with Genesis of Baton Rouge. If you buy a Genesis at Airline and Pico from Genesis of Baton Rouge, they give you 3 years of complimentary maintenance, and it's valet, which means they come to you, drop you a loaner, take your car in, do the service. You never miss a beat with your day. When they're done, they bring the car right on back to you. It's all part of the experience of driving a Genesis. It's a luxury brand at a reasonable price. Check out the inventory on the lot, Airline at Pico across from Women's Hospital, and you can always find them online at GenesisofBatonRouge.com. That's GenesisofBatonRouge.com.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Baton Rouge's home for real rock. It's Eagle 98.1. Foo Fighters. Led Zeppelin. AC/DC. Pearl Jam. And the flagship home for LSU sports. Take us anywhere with the Eagle 98.1 app. Eagle 98.1 is the rock station.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
At Sunshine, we know what you see when you look at your land. Where others may see dirt, you see the foundation you've built your life on. This, it's hallowed ground. It's past, present, and future. We're proud to provide quality John Deere equipment to help you maintain the land you love. Check out our current promotions and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief: our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. The Knicks' lengthy process to find a new head coach is over. According to ESPN's Shams Charania, 1 month after firing Tom Thibodeau, New York's expected to hire Mike Brown, a two-time NBA Coach of the Year and four-time NBA champ, as an assistant as their new head coach. Big expectations for Brown in New York, explains ESPN NBA senior writer Andre Snellings.
In order for this to be a success, at the very least in the near future, Mike Brown has to take them past the conference finals, because the conference finals was bad enough to get Tibbs fired. So he has to, get to an NBA final. But I think there's a path where that could happen as soon as this year. And in that sense, it could work out for the Knicks.
Andre Snelling's on Joe and Q. Grizzlies All-Star big man Jaren Jackson Jr. is recovering from surgery for a turf toe injury. He'll be reevaluated in about 12 weeks. Dodgers lefty Clayton Kershaw poised to make history tonight versus the White Sox. He needs just 3 strikeouts to become the 20th pitcher in Major League Baseball history to reach 3,000 Ks. He'll be only the third to accomplish that feat wearing just one uniform, along with Walter Johnson and Bob Gibson.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Candy, coming up Thursday with NFL training camp around the corner. I'll tell you the players who should ask to be traded. It's Unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Now, The Hunt Palmer Show.
This is a catastrophe.
You are now listening to The Hunt Palmer Show. Brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
That's what I wished for when I blew out my candle.
Locking down the middle of the day, live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios. This is Hunt Palmer.
The floor is yours.
All right, Hour 2, Wednesday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools. Fast-moving hour number 1. Thanks for hanging out with us here on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Talk some Saints in 15 minutes. Had Larry Holder's biggest question for the Saints entering the summer months. I'll get to that coming up in 15 minutes. LSU will be part of the kickoff crew for SEC Media Days a week from Monday in Atlanta, Georgia. Our station, most of our station, will be there. Morning show, my show, Matt's show, all from the College Football Hall of Fame in Atlanta. I'll certainly be writing some things up for LouisianaSports.net from over there as well. And LSU is part of the group that will start things on Monday. And the question is, who are they going to bring? And I've got my thoughts on that. And I think it's certainly interesting from my perspective, because that's who I'll be talking to, and that's who I'll be writing about, and that's who you'll be reading about and hearing from on our airwaves. And this is a time of year where we don't hear from many folks in the college football world. Like, you got Garrett Nussmeier at the Manning Passing Academy. You're not going to hear, outside of that 5 hours in Atlanta, anything from an LSU football player until the beginning of August. So you've got 5 weeks until you're going to hear from LSU football players and kind of what they have to say. So to me, there's some intrigue there. And the question's, okay, who are they going to bring? Last year, they brought Garrett Nussmeier, Mason Taylor, and Harold Perkins. Okay? I think it's essentially a lock that Garrett Nussmeier goes. There's an element of it that you like to send the quarterback if you can. There's an element to it of he's going to be embarking on a little Heisman early season chase here, and there is some value in getting him the exposure to the national media if you're trying to do that. I remember when Patrick Peterson kind of exploded onto the scene, returning kicks for touchdowns, and then he was out there playing some wide receiver briefly, and like LSU threw some Heisman stuff at the media, like, hey, look at this Patrick Peterson, check it out. And you can kind of lay the groundwork for that kind of stuff with Garrett in the summer months here. So I think Nussmeier is going to be there. Beyond that, I think it's kind of a crapshoot. I don't think they'll send Harold Perkins. He's coming off the injury, and he went last year. And a lot of times this is thought of as kind of a reward or an experience that you want to give multiple players on your team. So I don't think you'll see Harold Perkins. So you go to the next group of players that I think likely, in my opinion, and I could be proven completely wrong, this is a new era of college football, I don't think they're going to send the transfers. They certainly could, but I just don't think they're going to send transfers. I think they'll probably send guys who have been in the program for a couple of years. So I think that you're looking at a group on the offense. Like Chris Hilton's been around for a long time. He's an old player, figures to be a big part of the offense if healthy. Do you want to send him? I think that would be very cool. Aaron Anderson had a great year last year. He's now in his third year at LSU. Do you want to send him? You don't have returning players on the offensive line that I think necessarily merit that. We never talked to Caden Durham last year, so I don't know how he handles the media. I don't know that Trades Green or Bauer Sharp are going to be picked. So you start to get kind of slim pickings on the offensive side when you rule out a lot of the transfers. And then you go to defense and you look at Ashton Stamps, who's a 2-year starter, Jacobian Guillory, who's returning, Whit Weeks is a preseason All-American, Jordan Gilbert is a very old player who has spoken to the media a few times. We talked to him a couple times last year. So there, I think, are some more options on that side of the ball than there are on the offensive side. There are different types of motivations for this assignment. One, some players hate talking to the media. They tell the coach, I don't really want to talk to the media. And if you don't have to, they just don't. And so I don't know who that necessarily applies to on this team, but that happens sometimes. Sometimes the coach says, we're only going to bring seniors. That's sometimes a program decision. That's when you end up with punters. Like that happens a good bit. I bet there's a punter that goes this year. There's a punter almost every year. And it's usually from a team that's like, yeah, we send seniors. Sometimes it's for national spotlight. Sometimes it's for a team captain type deal. You've represented us well. You can go ahead and go. And then last year they said Harold Perkins went just because they felt like people needed to hear his story. So I'm not exactly – Brian Kelly doesn't have a long enough track record at this for me to figure that out for this year. But I got to guess, and I'll go ahead and throw it out there. I've got Nussmeier as one pick. My second pick, I'm going with Jacobian Guillory, sixth year player, coming off of an injury. Really had a great fall camp last year. Leader of a defensive front that is supposed to be significantly improved. He's taken on a leadership role with Don McKinley and Ashton and Ahmad Bro there in the middle. Like, I feel like that's a guy that makes a lot of sense. And then I'm just going to throw Whit Weeks in there as well. He's affable. He's a great quote. He's got that Southern drawl that everybody thinks is great. And he's a preseason All-American, like I mentioned. So to me, I think those are the three that are going to be my guess. Would it completely floor me if Brian Kelly sent a transfer? No, it wouldn't completely floor me. Like, there are some guys they've brought in that were here in the spring that I could see you sending. Like, Josh Thompson went to Northwestern. I've never spoken to him, but my guess is he's a pretty well-spoken guy. He went to Northwestern. You want to send him? Maybe he went to Big Ten Media Days last year. I don't know the answer. It's probably not true. Don't often send your right guard. But you could send him. Could you send Barry Brown, who's kind of been a star in the SEC from a kick turner perspective, that's kind of showing the opportunity you get as a transfer portal addition from to LSU, that, hey, if you come here, you might be able to go to SEC Media Days. Could you send Nick Anderson, who set a freshman touchdown record at Oklahoma? Jack Pyburn is a great quote. I mean, we talked to him in the spring. He's awesome. Like, do you want to send him? He considers himself a leader on the team. So, yeah, you could send him. Now, you're opening the door by sending Jack Pyburn or Barry Brown to them being peppered with questions of, why'd you leave Florida? Why'd you leave Florida? What's your NIL? You're opening the door for questions that aren't necessarily focused on the LSU football team in 2025, that are focused on those individual journeys away from places they were to LSU, when it's well chronicled that LSU was ditching out huge sums of money. And if you want to avoid those types of questions, you would avoid sending those types of players. So that's kind of where my head is. I think it's Garrett Nussmeier, Jacoby and Guillory, Whit Weeks. Those are three guys who have been at LSU the whole time. Those are three guys who have some skins on the wall. Those are three guys. I mean, I haven't talked to Jacoby in a lot, but he did come into studio and talk to Matt during the spring on AFR. So I know that he's open to doing some things like that. So that's my guess to this point. But Beck, do you have any thoughts on any of the names I mentioned? Chris Hilton, Ashton Stamps, Jordan Gilbert, Aaron Anderson, like from on-field stuff. I know that you don't talk to the players like I generally do at player interviews, but like, is there a name that makes sense that I'm missing here?
I don't think so. I don't know that you're going to go for any offensive linemen.
They're all transfers or guys that have never started.
Right. I mean, I don't think any offensive linemen. And then, there's no running backs. I mean, Caden Durham's still only a sophomore. He's not going.
Caleb Jackson probably not going to go.
Probably not. No, I think this is a pretty. I think it's going to be one of these guys, but along with two of these guys, along with Nuss, I think is going to be.
You agree that Nuss is a slam dunk? He has to go?
Yeah, of course. There's no question. I mean, it would be.
Matt Moscona has a rule that says you have to bring your quarterback.
Yes,
that would be.
It's not a real rule, but
he would say you'd have to bring your quarterback.
Yes, well, especially in this situation. I mean, that there's just no chance it's not him. It's got to be him. And then
every media days from here on out, I will always remember a column I wrote as a young writer for Bayou Bengals Insider.
Wow.
Prior to the 2012 season. 2012 season.
Okay.
And I wrote that, man, what an amazing year for quarterbacks in the SEC. Zach Mettenberger, A.J. McCarron, Aaron Murray. You had at Missouri, they had the guy that won a ton of games up there. I'm blanking on his name. You had Connor Shaw.
Yeah, who was that?
Cook. No, that was one they just had. I can't think of it. But it was a great year, except Texas A&M really has no idea what they're doing at quarterback. And their quarterback won the Heisman.
Yes.
Now, I don't think when I wrote that in July of 2012 that anybody knew that Johnny Manziel was going to win the Heisman.
Probably not.
So I'm a little bit off the hook. But I did just say, well, everybody is awesome at quarterback, except A&M kind of sucks. And then their quarterback won the Heisman. Literally the best player in the nation. So that was a bad column.
Who is the quarterback? I can't find. Okay, no, that's not right. Corbin Burks.
Nope.
No, that's not
right. If you said it, I would know it. From Missouri.
I'm looking at the 2012.
I think a quick.
Are you sure it was 2012?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I'm looking at their stats from games in 2012, and it's not.
Is it 13?
It might have been 13. I think it's 13.
Because Mettenberger was coming back.
Yeah, I think 12 was his first year.
Yeah. Go with 20. It was.
Yeah.
But he won the Heisman.
Not Heisman. Wait, you're talking about Manziel. That was
12.
That sounds right.
Was it 13? Am I just complete? Yeah, it was 2012. Okay. Yeah.
James Franklin?
That's it.
Yeah.
James Franklin. He won a lot of games. I mean, he wasn't like an NFL guy, but he was good college quarterback. He was in the Connor Shaw mold of this guy is just a good player. I said A&M was terrible. And they were not terrible at quarterback. They, in fact, were one of the best teams in the country. And towards the end of that season would have been a handful for anybody to beat.
Heisman was 2012. Yeah, so I don't know that what. Yeah, interesting.
It doesn't matter.
Either way.
Let's talk about the Saints next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Flight by Yingling is raising the bar by crafting the next generation of light beer. With only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories, this is premium refreshment 6 generations in the making. Flight by Yingling. Raise the bar.
It's not just a game, it's a religion. You've got your team color, team swag, and now your very own website. LouisianaSports.net. Everything LSU, Saints, and Pelicans. Sports on demand. In-depth coverage by sports writing pros with continuously updated news. And with the LouisianaSports.net newsletter, you get pinged directly with top trending stories. Best of all, now and always. No paywall. It's free. LouisianaSports.net. Powered by 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Your home for Louisiana sports.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
Men, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
At Luba Workers Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
Looking for the ultimate game day experience? Come to the Queen Casino in Baton Rouge. Savor game day platters and snacks, plus drink specials at 1717 Kitchen and Cocktail. So come out for game day and let our team make you the MVP. The Queen Casino, where every moment is a win.
This is the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools.
It is that time of year where everybody loves hopping in the pool, cooling down a little bit. It's grabbing a cold beverage. Maybe it's hanging out with the kiddos, catching some rays, decompressing from work, celebrating a holiday. Gotta love jumping in the pool. And if you don't have one, well, get into the pool of your dreams. Renaissance Homes and Pools can make that a possibility. The best part about working with Renaissance Homes and Pools is you're going to work with the owner, Joey Blanchard, directly. You're going to sit down with him at the computer with this incredible software that they have that's three-dimensional and can lay out the entire design of your pool to scale with the furniture and whatever custom designs you're looking for, whether that's tailored to children, grandkids, whether that's tailored to adults and happy hours, whether that's cocktail parties, whatever the custom design that you're looking for, he can make it happen right there in front of you with this software. And then he's going to be there start to finish. When the digging needs to be done, it's going to be done, and he may be jumping on the equipment to do some digging if somebody's on a lunch break. When it's being filled and finished, he's going to be there as well. He's done it for dozens and dozens and dozens of people in the Baton Rouge market. If you're looking to get that new pool, new outdoor kitchen, contact my friends at Renaissance Homes and Pools. Call Joey directly. Here's his cell phone number. I'm giving you his cell number. 225-252-7745. 225-252-7745. Renaissance Homes and Pools. Check them out online. BuiltByRenaissance.com. All right, was browsing for some Saints content today, and The Athletic had a piece up that said one lingering question for every NFL team entering the season. So what I like to do when I see a story like that is think about my answer to the question before I go read it. And if there's a lot. So when I see one lingering question for the Saints entering the summer months, I'm thinking, okay, is it Shook versus Rattler? Like, is that the angle? I get it. Like, it's probably Shook, but is Rattler really a potential starter for the team? Is that a question? Signing a veteran DB. We've seen a lot of that. They're very young at corner. Do they need to sign someone with a little more size, a little more experience at the cornerback spot? Like, maybe that's it. Is Cam Jordan done as an every down player? Like, we saw kind of a resurgence after Dennis Allen was relieved of his duty last year of Cam Jordan kind of an every down role. And is he going to do that with Granderson and Chase Young on the roster? Like, is that a question? Like, these are the questions that start running through my mind. Of course, you got Ken Penning play left guard. Like, that's a question I'm looking at. Is Kamara going to still be asked to carry 90% of the workload? I could see that being a question. There's lots of questions. Is Demario Davis well past his prime? I can see that being like, I'm going all over the field looking at questions. None of those questions were the question that Larry Holder presents for The Athletic here. And Larry does an awesome job covering the Saints. But I'll read from Larry's blurb here in the story. Quote, identities for teams often take a minute or two to form. As for the Saints, it feels like part of this team is in rebuild mode, and part of it thinks it's a contender for the NFC South crown. New coach, new coaching staff, new starting quarterback, first-round picks the last 2 years at tackle, but veteran players like Alvin Kamara, Demario Davis, Cam Jordan from the heyday, and veterans like Tyrann Mathieu, Justin Reed, Brandon Cooks. In a weak NFC South, maybe this team can still be a contender, and yet possibly one bad season away from clearing the deck at quarterback and moving on from many of those aforementioned pieces. End quote. That's what Larry said. And I can read that, and I can make the case for that question. I just hate it. Like, if there's anyone within that organization that has trouble deciphering whether this program is reloading, retooling, rebuilding, restarting, and still competing for championships, they're in the wrong building. Because I don't see how anyone could view it that way. The team was bad last year, fired the coach, the quarterback quit. You picked in the top 10 last year. Vegas says you're a 5-win team. You're probably starting a rookie quarterback. Like, hello? Who in there is determining that they're still pushing for a championship? I got it last year. You've got a coach fighting for his career. You've got a quarterback who's past his prime. Like, you don't really have another option with those guys in September other than, hey, let's go. When everybody on the outside's going, you can't go. You're not going anywhere. That's not the right coach, and that's not the right quarterback. But go ahead. And we saw what happened. It was a train wreck. And they fired the coach, and the quarterback quit. And now you started to see over the last 2 off seasons, the Saints have tapped the brakes on the spending. They haven't unnecessarily hamstrung themselves in years to come. They got a new young coach. They finally drafted a quarterback early in the draft. Like, all of these steps that they're taking indicate, okay, take a step back. We don't have a head coach who knows this is his last chance. In fact, we have the opposite. We don't have a quarterback who knows this is his last chance. In fact, you have the opposite. And so I don't think there should be any confusion. Sure, Cam Jordan and Demario Davis would like to win the Super Bowl this year for the Saints. Sure they would. And they're going to work really hard to try to do that. Guess what? It's not going to happen. But aside from the aging veterans, and more importantly, with the executives and the coaching staff, everyone should have no question where the organization actually sits at this current juncture. And any sort of thought that could creep into your mind that goes, Tampa's not that great. Atlanta's doesn't look good. I mean, Carolina's still, well, we met. No, just no. I don't care how good or not good Tampa is. I don't care how good or not good Atlanta is. I don't care that the Panthers are a disaster. That's not relevant. It was 2 years ago. It was last fall. It's not today. You have hit a button that indicates that you're not going to make the playoffs this year. So, despite the fact that you have aging veterans with decorated careers, not even just in New Orleans, he mentioned Tyrann Mathieu, mentioned Brandon Cooks. There is no question here. That question doesn't exist. You don't have to say it to the media. You don't have to. Mickey Loomis, I'm not asking him to come to the microphone and go, yeah, well, we were kind of a disaster the last couple of years, so we're changing everything, and we're not going to be any good, but that's okay. We'll get a high draft pick next year, and we'll see. Like, I don't need him to come to the podium and say that. I need him behind closed doors to go, guys, we've kind of gotten ourselves into a spot that we're not going to be able to get out of immediately. There aren't 4 little tweaks to the salary cap and 1 free agent signing that are going to put us to 12 wins. We're not even close to that. So let's take it slow and find a way back to 12 wins that doesn't involve overpaying long-term deals that hamstring the salary cap years down the road. It doesn't involve a coach fighting for his career. Let's make decisions that are for the health and the youth of the organization. So, while I don't have confidence in this Saints team to be good, I do have reason to believe, based on the actual actions of the executives, the coaching staff, and the organization over the last 10 months, that there is no question lingering where the Saints are in relation to the rest of the NFL. So while I do often agree with Larry and think he does an awesome job covering the Saints, I don't think this question applies to New Orleans. I think there is an identity. We're getting younger, we're getting cheaper, we're going to spend more time worried about the draft and not trading up, getting rid of 3 assets to move up 9 spots in the first round to take a high relative athletic score defensive end. That day is not today. And that's a positive for the Saints. All this I'm saying about there not being a question, that's a positive for the organization moving forward. It's a dark time to be a fan because it takes time. It's the only thing that can, time and draft picks. And that's not fun when you're a fan. But there's a light at the end of that tunnel if you do it the right way. There is no light at the end of the tunnel if you never, ever, ever relinquish the dream of competing this year right now. You just have to let that go for a second. And the Saints, I believe, have done that. Internally, not externally, but I believe they've done that to this point. So I don't agree with that being the big question for New Orleans, but we'll see. Maybe I'll be proven wrong. There's not a lot in the last 10 months that I could point to that would suggest that they're still conflicted. They know they got to restart. And I think they have. And that's good for the folks down in New Orleans. We're getting closer to the Saints jumping back into training camp. That'll be in 4 weeks? Ross Jackson still turning out content for LouisianaSports.net. We'll still have your content here on the show, and you can find our Saints content at Hunt on Saints, wherever you find your sound, whether that's a podcast or on YouTube. Just search Hunt on Saints and subscribe. We always appreciate that help with our Saints content. We got 30 minutes to go. Come back with us. Hunt Palmer Show.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
These ice cubes could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they cradle and cool the crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Nicely done, ice cubes.
Looking for the ultimate game day experience? Come to the Queen Casino in Baton Rouge. Wall-to-wall TVs mean you'll see every touchdown in HD. Place your bets and feel the thrill of every play with our DraftKings Sportsbook. The Queen Casino, where every moment is a win.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further. Like vans customized for work or play. With safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one. You. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
At Sunshine, we know what you see when you look at your land. Where others may see dirt, you see the foundation you've built your life on. This, it's hallowed ground. It's past, present, and future. We're proud to provide quality John Deere equipment to help you maintain the land you love. Check out our current promotions and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools.
Just got a text from my wife who said she was at a work event last night, and one of her coworkers said that I pop up on the TikTok feed every once in a while. And the quote was that I have heated takes. Which I don't know if I necessarily agree with that too much, but I do. Every once in a while you got to prove a point. And then she said, "Calm down."
Maybe I would say warm takes. I don't know if I'd say heated. I would say like slightly warm.
I don't think we're looking for hot takes. I think we're looking for like loud, like demonstratively stated.
And I don't know why she would say calm down, hon. You're a very in control of your emotions
I think
person.
so. But here's the deal. I just texted her back because all she watches on television
is reality TV.
Is the Real Housewives of whatever. And I said, you watch drunk women yell at each other every night. Like, people don't want you to just sit there when you're on an entertaining platform.
Yeah.
And she said, I guess that's true.
It is true. And
you
not
can't
to
just
mention,
sit there and be like, oh, well, the Saints might not be that good.
Not to mention, you are truly a TikTok star, hon. I don't know if you know that or not. You've got multiple.
I don't know that.
You have multiple TikToks that have been some of the most highly viewed TikToks on our channel.
Wow, amazing stuff.
Because you're just born for it.
TikTok folks love me. What can you say?
Yeah.
I've never been on TikTok before. I don't know how it works, but
you're probably the only person who's never been on TikTok that has multiple TikToks with like over 1 million views.
Yeah, maybe. I'm on Instagram. I see those views. That's good. TikTok, I don't do TikTok. That's all right.
It's okay.
If you do TikTok, that's great. Check out the Hunt Palmer Show on TikTok. Cassie will send something out
104.5
in the next
ESPN.
hour and a half. Yeah, that's us. Let's got winding things down here. We've got 20 minutes to go in the show. Basically, in the same light of the segment I just did, where we talked about a league-wide question that was posed. This one was posed on ESPN.com about college football, and they took every top 25 team in the country, which LSU is ranked number 6, and they gave them a sleeper pick. And when I read that, I just told you in the last segment, what I'll do is answer that question to myself before I go read the answer. And I had 2 picks for a sleeper pick for LSU and on either side of the ball. It was Barian Brown and DJ Pickett. I think, sorry, not Barian Brown, Trey'Dez Green and DJ Pickett. Pickett's a freshman, obviously 5-star, but has not played at the college level. I think he could be a sleeper as a guy who can really impact LSU's defense on the edge. And then Trey'Dez Green, I just think you saw in the bowl game when LSU's wide receiver core had been wiped out by opt-outs, like he was a handful for Baylor. And I think he can be a handful for everybody because he's just like, he's one of the guys that I interviewed a couple times during the midweek last year, and he walks in and you're like, geez, that guy's enormous. Like, I don't know if I immediately said that when we talked to Greg Penn when he came in. I don't know if I certainly would have said that when Aaron Anderson or Xavier Thomas comes in. And I don't even say that when Garrett Nussmeier comes in. But when Trey'Dez Green walks in, you're just like, oh. Mason Taylor didn't give me those vibes. Certainly, like, I would notice he was bigger than most people if I saw him at a restaurant. But, like, Trey'Dez Green, you're just like, oh, that guy's a freak. And so I think he and DJ Pickett, who also, by the way, is 6'4" corner and kind of freakish, those are my picks. I let the slip go there on who the pick was on ESPN.com as I was laying out my picks. But the pick on ESPN.com is Barian Brown. And Barian Brown is an interesting choice for sleeper because he set records in the Southeastern Conference already as a kick returner, but hasn't done that necessarily in the passing game because Kentucky's passing game has been abysmal. And when LSU signed Barian Brown out of the portal, my reaction was, okay, I know he was a highly thought of recruit. I know he's run some kickoffs back. I don't know if he's a great wide receiver. And I think that was fair just in my observation of the league. And then you turn on the YouTube highlights, and then you go to practice. And I'm not telling you Barian Brown's going to catch 1,000 yards worth of balls, but he does look like he knows what he's doing in the route running portion of practices. And I watched him run right by the LSU defense multiple times. And I think he is probably a more polished wide receiver than I personally suggested when he signed on the dotted line. When he signed on the dotted line, I kind of thought, well, they've got Chris Hilton, who's a burner who can run kicks back and is really fast. They've got Xavier Thomas, who is a kick returner. They've got Aaron Anderson, who ran a kickback at the end of last year. So I don't know what role he fills. And then I watched him at practice, and I went, he can find a role. So it's a roundabout way of saying, like, okay, he could be a breakout, just in a very different way than he was at Kentucky. If Barian Brown catches 840 yards worth of balls and 8 touchdowns, like, that's significantly more productive than he's been at Kentucky. Now, Garrett Nussmeier, Joe Sloan, this offense, little more productive than what you've seen at Kentucky, which has been the last couple of years one of the bottom 2 or 3 passing offenses in the Southeastern Conference. But like last year, Barian Brown had 361 yards and 3 touchdowns. 361 and 3 touchdowns. He'll have that in September. I'm confident. His best year was his freshman year when he had 50 catches for 628 and 4 scores Will Levis was the quarterback that year. And I think he could be a little bit better than that in this offense. So I guess that he's been asleep based on the Kentucky offense could break out in a far more potent and productive offense. He's a more complete receiver than I gave him credit for watching from afar. I can't. Cole Kublik can do it. Credit to him. But I can't necessarily dive into every player on every team and get a sense of what they're good at and what they're not. I can't do that for Auburn's left tackle. I can't do that for Texas A&M's free safety. I can't do that for Florida's running back. I can't do it for Kentucky's wide receiver. There's just not enough bandwidth in doing this job and covering LSU as closely as I need to for 3 different sports to really lock in. I know the names. I know the skill sets to an extent, but like I can't get as deep as some of those other guys who cover the league as a whole. And so Barry Brown was someone that I had a familiarity with that has changed over the last 8 months since he has committed to LSU. And so I think that's great. I would still go with Trey'Dez Green and DJ Pickett over Barry and Brown, but I do understand where that Barry and Brown pick comes from here. And he's just another cog in what should be a really, really good LSU passing game. And it all comes down back to one thing. Just one thing. It's a big thing. It's the offensive line. And if you tell me that LSU's offensive line is 87% of what it was last year, just making up a number, just 87%, they're going to be a top 3 SEC scoring offense for sure. For sure. You just can't have it collapse, which you never know. You may be moving 5 spots. If DJ Chester doesn't crack in at a guard, 5 new starters. It's impossible to know how that's going to look. But I feel confident and comfortable with how everything around it looks. Nussmeier, Durham, Green, Sharp, Brown, Hilton, Anderson, Thomas. I mean, the list goes on and on out there. It's just, it's going to be very, very productive. And I think Barry and Brown, let's see, I think the tough part about quantifying what the wide receivers are going to do, and this will be an August conversation for sure, is I don't know what Nick Anderson's going to do. He just was such a 53% participant in spring ball with a wrap on his hamstring and coming off a weird injury where it was his hip. Yeah, it was his oblique. Yeah, it was his quad. It's mid, and then he didn't go through everything in the spring. So I would have thought the day he committed, oh, that's your number 1 wide receiver. But Anderson's going to get some of his. I feel good about Hilton. And maybe they all split things to a point where nobody has a breakout year. But I feel like Brown's going to be a top 3 receiver on the team. Maybe that's breakout. Maybe that's just productive on a really good team. But I like the signing more than I did in December. That's for sure. So Barry and Brown, potential breakout player for LSU in this 2025 season. We got 1 segment to go. We'll do it next. Hunt Palmer Show.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Highland Insurance Group, HighlandIG.com is the website. I tell you a couple times a week about captives. And they're just, to me, the future of insurance. It's taking a lot of homogenous industry companies in a certain industry and pooling together your premium funds to then pay out claims. And you've got to have really good loss control to fit into it. And if you do, it can be a game changer for your commercial insurance program. The Highland Insurance Group does this kind of thing all the time. All the time. Jonathan Carbo and his team are experts when it comes to the technical aspect of insurance, and they can get creative when it comes to your premium. If you're a business owner, the odds are the first thing you think about when I say insurance is the premium. It's just natural. And it's an important thing. And the Highland Insurance Group is an independent broker. They've got contracts with multiple dozens of different markets that you can place your commercial insurance program into. And they'll make sure the premium is where it should be. They'll also make sure the coverage is where it should be. And if they need to get creative with something like a captive, they can do it. Give them a call or find them online at HighlandIG.com if that's something you're interested in. It's the Highland Insurance Group. You can find them online, highlandig.com.
When it comes to industrial construction, River Parish Contractors can do it all. Mechanical, structural, custom fabrication, specialized welding, and turnaround services. Strategically located in between Baton Rouge and New Orleans, we have the local team with the experience and commitment to safety to manage the most complex industrial projects. Period. Here's the deal. Partnering with us means your project is delivered on time, on budget, and most important, safely. River Parish Contractors, let's get building.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies. We've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
This is the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools.
Wednesday shows brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools. Looking for the pool of your dreams? Contact my guy Joey Blanchard, 225-252-7745. BuiltByRenaissance.com. Outdoor kitchen, they got you covered. Custom pool, they got you covered. It's Renaissance Homes and Pools. They bring you Wednesday shows each and every week. Just saw on the old Twitter machine that Joe Buck, Jim Nantz, and their kids are playing golf in Cabo today at El Dorado.
That sounds nice.
It does.
Are we going to be doing that maybe in a few years, Hunt? You know, once the show takes off even more than it already has, and
it's going to need to take off a significant amount. I don't see a lot of golf in my future currently.
Yeah.
I see a lot of tuition bills, a lot of diapers, baby formula, frozen lasagnas, swimming lessons.
Yes.
I see a lot of that. I don't see a lot of Cabo golf currently.
Man, yeah.
But that's just where I'm sitting right now.
Who knows? You never know.
You really don't. And I haven't bought a Powerball ticket today. Maybe that happens, and then there's not going to be as much of any of that stuff.
No.
Well, there'll still be some of that.
It'll still be there. It just won't be. You'll have other.
Is burdensome.
Yeah. I was talking to Musso because yesterday was Bobby Bonilla Day, which we didn't mention on the show, but it's a classic holiday. 1.19.
1.19.
And we were pondering on what we would do if we were to be in the same situation where you were getting $1 million every year.
With taxes, you're talking about $650K or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know if his agent gets any of that at this point. Like,
They probably should.
Yeah, probably. So, Bobby Bowe catching, $500,000 on July 1st every year.
Well, what would you do if that was you?
If I got $500,000, I mean, and that's the income for the year. Like, I don't think I'm going crazy with it, quite frankly.
Well, no, I'm just saying, just your current situation.
Oh, if I got $500,000,
yeah,
I would just sleep better tonight. It can't that's really I just wouldn't have to sweat things as badly if they just gave me one nice check there. I'm not even asking for it every year, but it's just the money it tends to go in and out.
It does.
It tends to go in and out. You
It
got
does.
education funds and IRAs and car notes, and they continue every single month. They make me pay for that house.
Yeah.
They just never stop. It's just annoying. Give me a couple of months off on the house payments.
That would be nice.
It would be. They don't ever do it. They make
No,
me
they
pay
don't.
every month. Right there on the 3rd, tomorrow, it'll be gone. Just like that. Hate to see it. But I like the house. I just don't like the check. Let's do some take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it.
Presented to you by Flight by Yingling, the next generation of light beer, crafted by America's oldest brewery. Today's hottest stories in sports, news, and sometimes even Hunt's life. The question is, will he take them or leave them?
It'll help me take my mind off all the tuition and stuff. A few Yingling flights on the water this weekend. That's going to be happening for me. 2.6 carbs, 95 calories. It's the next generation of light beer. It's light, it's cool, it's crisp, refreshing. Also maintains that delicious beer flavor. If you're headed to the water, you're looking to get something on the grill this weekend, and you want something awesome to drink, just try for the first time Flight by Yingling. It's the next generation of light beer.
All righty, first one here, Space Jam. Take it or leave it.
I'm gonna take it.
I'll take it.
Okay.
Be hesitant on that.
Okay.
It's good. I enjoyed it when we bought it on Amazon.
You never
on
watched it?
Saturday.
Are you talking about the new one?
No, the old one.
You
I
never
haven't
watched
seen it in 20 years. Yes,
Oh,
of course
okay,
I have.
okay. I was gonna say you had to.
I haven't seen it in 20 years. It turns out we bought it on Saturday for Myers to watch it.
Yeah.
It is Wednesday. I'm not hyperbole. Being dead serious.
Okay.
He's watched it 14 times. I'm not. He had tubes put in his ears on Tuesday, so he missed school, and he just doesn't turn it off. I want to watch Michael Jordan.
Nice.
Go Michael Jordan.
Nice.
Loves it. In the movies, there are some funny lines.
Yeah.
Like Bill Murray, I did not remember him being in the movie. It's
Yes.
funny. Talks about wanting to play in the NBA. That's good stuff. I enjoyed
the Larry Bird, all the Larry Bird, the Charles Barkley, all that
good.
stuff. Yeah.
And then they put in some adult humor
They
in there
did,
as
they
well,
did.
which works. The kid has no idea what it's looking at.
Of course.
But, it's good. It's good. It's just 14 times is a lot to watch Space Jam.
It is. It is. I would
Myers
not.
really likes the opening credits where they go, "Come on and slam."
Oh,
And
yeah.
he sits on the couch and he goes, "Slam, jam, slam, jam." He likes it. It's just a lot of Space Jam.
That is. That's yeah. I'm not looking forward to watching the same thing over and over again.
You get control of the TV for a good year, but there comes a point where you lose it. And
Yeah.
with Myers, it's way gone.
Lost contained,
Yes.
you could say. All right, next one here, the New York Knicks. After
Oh my God.
after a very long and drawn out
Disastrous.
disaster of trying to find the next head coach, they're turning to Mike Brown. So he will be the next head coach of the Knicks. Mike Brown as the head coach of the Knicks. Take it or leave it.
I will leave it. Isn't Mike Brown like a punchline? Doesn't he coach half the teams in the league and he gets fired from all of them?
Well, he was at the Kings his last coaching job was with the Kings. He did take them to the playoffs for the first time in a long time in 2023. But then last year in 2024, they started out really poorly and they got rid of him. But he's been a coach
LeBron
of the year
fired
twice.
him in 5 minutes. I don't know what happened when he was the Lakers coach. Whatever. Here's the deal. This is a bad sign because Skip Bayless went on and tweeted, Mike Brown, very good.
Oh, that's not good, yeah.
And Skip Bayless's entire career has been made on what does everyone think? I'll just say the exact opposite.
Yes.
And then I'll bang the table and demand that that's correct. And so clearly he sees that opportunity when everybody goes, nobody thinks Mike Brown's a great coach. should be able to, well, yeah, good coach. Good job by the
At
Knicks.
this point, no, he's not.
No.
All right, that's it for Take It or Leave It.
Awesome. Shout out to Flight by Yingling, the next generation of light beer. That'll wrap things up for us here on this Wednesday. Reminder, the station is off on Friday. No local shows on Friday. Tomorrow we will be in. We'll have OTB in the morning, live at lunch, 11 to 1. I'll be here 1 to 3, and then we will have Musso on AFR tomorrow as well. But Friday we will be off, so I hope everybody has a safe and happy 4th of July weekend. But tomorrow we have a lot to talk about. Hopefully LSU nabs a couple of commitments. I talked about that in the first segment of today's show's football commitments. LSU's got a couple of guys in their sights for 6 o'clock this evening, so we'll keep an eye on that. The baseball transfer portal is still very much open, and, well, the portal's not open. There are a lot of players in the portal that can commit to you, I should say, so we'll monitor that as well. Missed any of today's show, catch it on demand wherever you find your sound. Just search Hunt Palmer Show. Like, subscribe, rate, and review. And we appreciate all of that. Check out LouisianaSports.net for free as well. That's it for us. Musso is going to drive you home on After Further Review from 3 to 6. I'll keep an eye on these LSU commitments. We'll have a write-up on the site tonight. And then tomorrow, we'll be back same time, same place for a Thursday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show right here on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Genesis of Baton Rouge. GenesisofBatonRouge.com is that website. As I tell you every day, every car that's on the lot is online at GenesisofBatonRouge.com. So if you are in the market for a new vehicle and don't really want to set foot on the dealership lot this very moment, that's okay. You can check it all out online. And remember, when you're thinking about Genesis, it's a luxury brand. But when you think luxury brand, don't immediately go, I can't afford that. Take a look. Doesn't matter what you're in the market for. Sedan, SUV, they've got your entry level. They got the high-end models as well. Check them out, and if you decide, ooh, this is something I'd like to take a look at, that's great. You can have one of their brand ambassadors come to you. They can come to your place of business. They can come to your home. They can get you behind the wheel, and you'll sense that difference. And if you decide that's what you want, they can deliver your vehicle to you, and you can do e-contracts. You never have to set foot on the dealership if you don't want to. They're at Airline and Pico, across from Women's Hospital, and, of course, online at GenesisofBatonRouge.com.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks